Hello everybody. Welcome to this video. Today's topic is going to be on the new non-duality. You are the universe. What I want to talk about today is this newer notion of non-duality, what it means to actually be the universe. I think I've talked before about in the past how I had just a regular old Catholic upbringing, nothing too strong. We went to church on Christmas and Easter and maybe one Sunday a month. It was no dogmatic, strong growing up. Really getting in my high school and teenage years obsessed with just asking why and really diving to the bottom of everything logically. And what that led to was inevitably a deep questioning of what are we doing here? Why are we here? And the answer is the time that I found myself in 2003 and 2004 led me to, my Catholic upbringing and a deep philosophy. Went to a Catholic high school and just questioning what is going on and why are we here. Uh, I was on my way to the seminary after high school. I didn't do that before I joined the seminary. I really started diving in deep and questioning everything and realized I couldn't couldn't devote my entire life to this. There were too many questions, too many what ifs, too many doubts, too many other explanations going on out there, not just contained in one holy Bible. Um, so I did not join the seminary. In fact, I completely rejected it. I went to a strong atheism and agnosticism. And during those atheistic years, like my college years and early on in my working adult professional life, I remember I didn't actually listen to Alan Watts yet, really at the time, like philosophy or spirituality. Maybe I had heard the talk that it came from at some point, but the idea being, I had a background screensaver for years on my desktop at the time, and it stated it was from Alan Watts. Somebody on Reddit had made it. It was just like a little human or astronaut hanging out on a little tiny planet and just looking out in all the galaxies and universes and space out there. Uh, and it said, "You are an aperture of the universe viewing itself, or you are the universe viewing itself." And at my atheistic mind point is how I interpreted that quote. Probably not fully understanding who Alan Watts was or what he actually believed. But at the time, what it meant to me and what I think it kind of means at the surface level, we'll go deeper than this, but at the surface level, to my mind, I was like, yeah, at some point, science says there was a big bang, and every atom or molecule that exists today, and all of space, as big as space is and time is, no additional atom or energy was ever created or added to this system. Every atom and piece of matter and particle existed at the time of the Big Bang, and it was just boiled down into one infinitesimally small point. And at one point, we were all one. We were all just one tiny point of like a Planck length scale, like 10 to the negative 43 or whatever it is, like 43, a decimal point, 43 zeros, and a 1. That's how small we were, measured in, I think, in meters, the Planck length. Um, so 0.0041 zeros and then a 1. That's how tiny every single atom, the whole Earth, sun, solar system, everything in the universe was contained in that tiny little point. And it meant, yeah, we are all one, we're all connected. And I grew through the universe, through evolution of billions of years, and the coalescing of molecules, turning into stars, turning into planets, turning into life and civilization and evolution, and growing a brain with a frontal lobe that could view, all of this through my eyes and comprehend all of this with my mind and experience and touch all of this with my hands. That's what the statement meant to me. That I was an aperture for the universe to experience itself. And it makes sense from a scientific viewpoint. I don't think scientists or physicists would argue with that. They'd say, yep, we were all one tiny little point, and we exploded into a bunch of points, and inevitably we'll have the heat death of the universe because everything will be so far scattered apart, and all the hydrogen and helium will have burned up from stars, and all the planets will have spread so far out that everything will just freeze to death over trillions of years, or beyond that, even like black holes will form all over the place from all these stars just imploding and the gravitational forces throughout the universe. Or we'll all have a big crunch. We'll all crunch back down into one singular point again, just to explode and start over again. So that was what that statement meant to me. What it means now is kind of what I call the new non duality of the you are the universe. Scientifically, say you are the universe, you'd be like, yeah, that's sure. I have no soul. I am just universe stuff, chemicals and stuff going on in my brain producing sensations. That's all I am. What I want to do is I want to kind of flip the script on you, right? And show it from a different angle, more spiritual angle, but an angle I think is actually more true. And the way I want to do that is through an analogy. So a lot of scientists argue that space-time is fundamental. They'll say space-time is all there is. Space-time is real. Space-time is the ground and fabric of reality, which appears true on the surface, right? We say space-time being the dimensions of space, the three dimensions of space plus time. That appears to be what's going on here. And the way I want to illustrate that in the mind for everyone is imagining a blank white piece of paper. You can make this white piece of paper in your mind's eye as big or as small as you want. Just a regular 8-inch piece of paper. If you want the paper to spread and be as big as your imagination can picture it to be that big. And then what I want you to do with your mind's eye is draw a little tiny black dot for any sort of whatever you want to call us, whatever's going on. Whether you think we're souls, and on that piece of paper, you want to draw 8 billion tiny little souls in one tiny spot representing the 8 billion lives that exist currently on planet Earth in 2023. Or if you want to call us just units of consciousness, things that can comprehend at a high enough level to say I am or I exist, things that can comprehend its own existence. Whatever you want to call us, that more scientific approach of just I am a unit that can say I exist, or more spiritual to say we're souls. Every single little dot, and I don't know how many dots you want to draw. You're a solipist, you only draw one. You say you're the only soul that exists. If you're, more of a Christian bent, you might draw all the Christian souls because they're the only ones that matter. I don't know. You might draw all 8 billion souls to say they all matter because they all can be saved. If you're spiritual but also have a more of a scientific approach, you might draw multiple souls on there, like more than just one spot. So have your really big white piece of paper that takes up the whole field that you can imagine when you close your eyes. And there's 8 billion tiny little dots in one spot of that piece of paper. And then somewhere else on that piece of paper, representing some other place in our universe, there's some more dots. Maybe it's 10, 20, 100, a billion, a trillion. And that could represent life on a different galaxy, life on a different planet. Maybe this other civilization that has souls or individual units of consciousness, whatever you want to call it, has spread through that galaxy. So draw as many black dots as you want, and every one of those are just units of consciousness or units of awareness, and fill up the page as much as you want. Like there are going to be plain white spots, like for instance in the middle of space between just even Earth and the Moon, our nearest satellite. There's going to be a lot of blank spaces between Earth and the Moon because I really don't think there's much going on in that plain space between the Earth and the Moon. I don't even think there's anything going on the Moon, but probably somewhere else on that piece of paper there's something going on. So anyway, that is what science kind of believes. even atheistic, if we just define it as like uh, something that can identify itself as being aware or as having consciousness, right? I think most scientists would say, yeah, there's about 8 billion humans on Earth that have consciousness. Some scientists might even put higher primates or higher mammals in that category as well as having consciousness. But I think most scientists would agree at least 8 billion humans. Most scientists would probably say somewhere else in the galaxy there's also something that has consciousness like this. That's space-time is fundamental. Space-time is that white piece of paper, and then we're not entirely sure how, but units of consciousness spread out on that piece of paper. The explanation is time and energy. Given enough time and enough energy and enough probability, somewhere a black dot will appear. That's the scientist rationalistic point of view, and the one I used to believe when I had that quote as my desktop paper. The new non-duality that I kind of wanted to describe flips that on its head, and I want you to picture that same huge, massive, white, expansive piece of paper in your mind's eye. But that white piece of paper now is no longer space-time. That white piece of paper is consciousness. So consciousness is fundamental. Consciousness is the ultimate ground floor of reality. This whole I amness, this feeling of I am, is the ground of reality. And then the black dots that you draw upon it can be whatever you want. You can draw a black dot, for instance, as Jason. I would be a black dot on a piece of paper because I am coming down, manifesting on this plane, and experiencing what I am experiencing right here, right now. Could be a black dot. Um, you would be another black dot on there, assuming you exist. And I'm not just talking to my phone right now, capturing this video. So you could be another black dot. There could be other black dots, maybe representing a different universe or an alternate timeline. You have many black dots on this piece of paper. And that could just be all the infinite possibilities of experiencing life. So with that, we'd call that consciousness is fundamental, or this I am awareness being fundamental. You could call it God if you wanted. When God introduced himself to Moses in the burning bush, he said, I am that I am. Moses asked for his name and he said, I am is his name. So this I amness is fundamental. And this I amness manifests or creates reality. Now, the question I want to have you ponder and leave with, we'll address this in a future video, but the question I want to give you today, and I always want to inspire you to please write. With these questions about life and non-duality, a lot of people get stuck in their head and just think. Or you come to a YouTube video and watch, or listen in the background. You read books upon books upon books, or maybe talk to some people here or there. Smoke a little weed, talk to some friends. What's going on, man? What is life? Write. Really write. Like, ponder these questions. Sit half an hour and just ask yourself questions. And it's okay if what you write you're just ashamed of a week later. That actually shows a lot of progress. That shows that you're growing and learning. But if you're not writing things down, you won't grow, or you'll just be stuck in your head, or you'll be stuck reading the next spiritual book, or going to the next seminar, or watching the next YouTube video. It's like someone reading about a workout, reading about push-ups or sit-ups or running, versus someone that's actually doing the running and sit-ups. The writing is where you're doing the work. You think you're doing the work when you're reading about it or listening to it, just like someone else who's crafting the perfect workout plan. But you're actually doing the work when you're doing the workout. And the workout on your spiritual journey is by writing. You don't have to share it with anyone. You do have to write. It's okay if you burn it afterwards or if you're embarrassed. You will be. So just lean into that. But you'll grow by writing. You'll grow. So the question I want to leave you with, playing with this idea, Consciousness is fundamental. Consciousness is the only thing that's always existed. Consciousness, instead of just being white space or black space or this infinite void and just floating in nothing, consciousness has manifested itself into you, into your brain, into your body, into this particular area that it created, probably. But why? That's the question I want to leave you with, is the why. Why are you here? Why did you come here and create this life? Create this. What are you trying to do? What are you trying to accomplish? Are you trying to even accomplish anything? The answer could be you're not trying to accomplish anything. It might be. I don't want to give you any hints. I don't want to give you any takeaways. I don't want to reveal any secrets. I want you to do the work. But I just tell you it's just another book. It's just another lecture. And you'll keep seeking and you'll keep searching. I want to stop your searching and seeking. I want to encourage you to do the work that you think you've been doing. But maybe no one's told you how to actually do it yet. Yeah, stop watching my videos and go grab a journal or a piece of paper and a pen and write. And if you need to burn it afterwards, burn it afterwards. But the question I want you to think about is why? Consciousness is the ultimate fundamental reality. And all I can ultimately say about my life is I am. I am conscious. I am aware. Beyond that, you can't say much. We'll dive into this in other videos. I have some plans, but we can go through common theories that people have out there, like simulation theory, talk about VR in the future. We can talk about, anything going on. We can talk about psychedelics. We can talk about meditation, dreams. We can talk about dreams. And like the quick example with a dream is, when you're in a dream, it feels very real. You're getting chased by a tiger in a jungle, you know that's real. I'm getting chased by a tiger and I have to run or I will be eaten alive, and I know it. When you wake up, your heart is racing and you say, wow, that was a crazy dream. Wow, that felt so real. I got lost in it. I didn't know I was dreaming. And my question for you is, are you sure you're not doing that right now? How can you be? Because if I were to ask you in the dream, you'd say, absolutely, this is real. I'm getting chased and I must run. You'd have no conception of this is a dream unless you went lucid in it. So the question I want to leave you with, and the question I want you to reflect on and write on, consciousness is the ultimate base of reality. Consciousness has created and manifested in this world, in you, in this body, in this time. You've created this planet, you've created this universe, you've created this body, you've created the life you're currently in, or at least the life you were on. Why did you create it? Please go do the work. If you can't do it now, please schedule some time later today to do it. We'll talk about this more in a future video, but if you just go straight to that video now, you're going to be missing the best part of this journey. So I really encourage you to take the time and reflect on, why did I manifest into this life? Good luck.